Greetings, young strapping gentlemen. Are you delving the depths of your academic literature? Why, indeed you are. But have you ever heard of Short Course, a new comprehensive writing tool guide aimed at refining your writing? Well then do I have a surprise for you. Introducing Short Course. Developed by Kenneth Bruffet, Short Course helps you become a better writer. Why, just look at the fun old Daniel is having reading. It's just a grand old time. Tantalizing, isn't it? And what about young Gramuel? He appears to be confused. But Daniel knows better. He understands that Short Course is not for everyone. Short Course offers a brand new understanding of both peer reviewing and writing that can be used by anyone, even those deterred by its process. Understanding is not always made through confirmation or agreement, but rather, Short Course allows both parties to share their ideas safely and free from judgment. And best of all, everyone is better off for it. Short Course helps develop young, intelligent, compassionate human beings. You see, Short Course brings friends closer together. Order your copy today.
Oh, that is pungent. Hello everybody again, this is Daniel Herman, coming at you for a third time. Brace yourself, it's gonna get crazy. Not really, but I'm here today to discuss my thoughts and feelings about Unit 1 for College Writing 101. So there was a lot that we covered in Unit 1, Unit 1 that I would say at the very least was very helpful. It gave me a chance to look at my writing, offer some fresh perspective. But the main points that I wanted to touch upon today, much like my last video, kind of revolve around Bruffet. That's not how you say it, but I don't care. Some of the stuff that we did in rewriting, and almost kind of moving forward in this conversation now, which is kind of Unit 2, in countering and forwarding. One of the first things that I found particularly helpful kind of harks back to a previous video that I did revolving around the idea of taking a concept instead of starting in the beginning, starting in the middle, where you get all your substance, blah 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 blah. You've heard that, but it really does help, and it is something that's almost sort of revolutionizes how I approached my writing in this class, and it really makes me think, well, how would I have done in high school if they had taught us that method? And I'm almost peeved that the teachers didn't really approach it that way, but at the same time I kind of understand it. It's not so much a concept of, oh, we should just do it. It's more along the lines of, are these kids intelligent enough to really do it? Do they understand what is being taught? Can we give enough freedom to them? Is there too much freedom? Suffice it to say, I think I would have liked it more in high school, but unfortunately that was not the case, but I can't complain, I got here. So yeah, the idea of starting in the middle, the Bruffet's model for Short Course early on was certainly incredibly helpful. And I really think that was kind of like, that was like the foundation. It was the first thing we did, and it really did kind of carry itself all the way through. Then we look at the peer reviews. I think the peer reviews were remarkable. Being able to work with someone on their own piece and then on your own piece as well. Really sit down and engage them. Not so much in a one-on-one space, but really in terms of a writing space. And see how your work appeals to them, how their work appeals to you, and really how you build off of each other, and I think that was incredibly valuable. In high school, a lot of the peer reviews we did were very, like, caged, and we had these ridiculous formattings, and it was freeform, and not to say freeform's not the right word, but it wasn't very open. It wasn't open to discussion. It wasn't open to different routes of inquiry. It was very closed off, and it wasn't the individuals, it was the format, and the format by which that we went about a lot of the stuff, it was very rigid. Now, not to say that the new stuff we have doesn't have format, but it appears to give us a lot more freedom with how we explore our concepts. One of the big things that I thought was probably the best about the peer reviewing process in a way was how I was able to kind of connect with my readers, not so much just throw an unfinished work at a pair of eyes that weren't my own and just say, tell me everything that I did right and I did wrong. And it made their comments and their reviews and their perspective a lot fresher. I was able to kind of come to terms with it a little bit better, and I think I learned a lot more from it, not just by following a strict outline and having people, you know, just tell me what I did right and then just kind of go from there and on my own. And I felt like there was a strong sense of everyone's working together on the same thing, and I like that a lot. So where does that leave us? Well, we're moving into Unit 2 now with WA5, and right now we're working on countering and forwarding and all these different ideas. And I feel like in a way there's a lot of this subtle discussion already going on, more particularly with my rant essay that I wrote about film. There wasn't so much this idea that it was just specifically a rant, but it kind of followed the format that I like to learn as I write. You're right, yeah. That's fine, don't worry about it. Shun the non-believer! No, we're good. Say hi, Connor.
Oh, hi.
So in terms of the, like forwarding and doing this countering sort of stuff, that was almost kind of like part of the peer review process, and I do find that kind of cool. And in a way, they didn't explicitly tell us in the first part of our writing and our stuff that we were doing that, but the peer review process by which we just kind of engaged each other almost kind of made that discussion. Well, how do you go certain places with certain material? How does that material open itself up to other audience members that don't quite share the same view as you, and how can you adapt to meet their needs as a reader, but continue to adapt your own style and explore your own writing? And I think that was pretty cool, and it wasn't explicitly implied, but looking at where countering is now and what we kind of did with the peer reviews, it's almost kind of, they almost kind of fall in line, and I like that. So moving ahead, I don't know, I'm liking the course a lot so far, and I'm enjoying the kind of learning style that we're taking with this, where it's not so rigid and it's not horribly close-minded, and there's a lot of freedom, and I enjoy that, and I enjoy this idea that we can kind of learn more about ourselves and our peers by this process. And I'm really excited to see where this goes when we have all this countering and all this forwarding and all this illustrating, as they give us all these different other styles of writing that we can implement in our own works. And in a way, I feel like it's going to broaden this discussion that we've already kind of created amongst ourselves, and I feel like it's going to branch off into a bunch of different ideas. One of them that really stuck out to me was when we were doing the digital implant or imprint or whatever. And it was really interesting. I worked with Nick on it. Again, I'm sorry about your name that day. And it was really interesting to look at it because I took a very different stance on the issue than he did. Not so much in terms of it's right or it's wrong, but our perspectives were slightly different. So when I sat down and I looked at his piece, and I decided, okay, well, how can I bring my own unique style to his idea? It stopped there, because that wasn't the point. The idea was, how do I kind of meld the two and move it forward so that my idea is also reflected in his idea, and his idea, being the main one, is still being explored and talked about. And I really wish I had a copy of it, because looking back on it, what I wrote and what I kind of analyzed and how we both kind of edited each other really created a new form of the discussion that wasn't so much just my stance or his stance. It was like a hybrid of the two. And I feel like if that process kind of stays true the whole way through, I think we're going to have a really cool kind of meshing of ideas in this next section, and ultimately all the way through the semester and next semester, because, like, you know, we're still in just Unit 2. And this countering and this forwarding and this illustrating and all these different ideas that are broadening the conversation and opening it up to a number of people, I think are going to be really, really cool ways to kind of expand on our writing and make us think differently about our writing. Because I know I did not think of Nick's perspective when I was editing his. And upon reading it and reading mine and kind of mixing the two, totally different process, totally different ideas, totally different paper. And I think that's going to be something that I'm looking forward to a lot in this next section. And ultimately, none of this would have happened if we didn't have our peer reviews in our short course. So I'm very happy that we took the time to study those. I'm very happy at how it all turned out, and I'm looking forward to where it all goes. So thank you all again for listening. This has been Daniel Herman. I keep flipping the two. Post in the comments which one you like more. No one's going to post, but I don't care. Just do it. Don't do it. Anyway, thanks again for listening. I'm signing off. I'll see you in class. Have a good weekend. And stay tuned for more Danny rants, if they ever come. So, bye-bye. You handsome devil.